All right, so this is the team round of the 2022 Math Counts Competition 1. And there are only 5 problems in this, so we're going to do all 5 in one video. Now, 5 friends are standing in line. Cliff is standing directly behind Danny, so I'm going to write that down because I'm going to forget. So Cliff is standing directly behind Danny. Okay. And then there are 2 people between Cliff and Mark. So 2 people between Cliff and Mark. So that means we could have Mark, a person, Danny, Cliff, and then another person. Or we could have Danny, Cliff, person, Mark. But then it also says that Mark is standing somewhere behind Eric, but in front of Tom. So in this case, we just don't have enough people at this point for this thing to work. So it says that Mark is standing somewhere behind Eric. So that means Eric has to be in front of Mark here. That means Tom has to be here. And we want to know where Danny's place is. So this is the 4th spot in line here. All right, Tracy wants to leave the waiter a tip equal to 10% of the cost of the dinner, including tax. When the check comes, an 8% tip has already been included, and the total is $50.76. How many more cents does Tracy need to add so that the waiter receives the 10% tip Tracy intended? All right, so this is simply a calculator problem, right? So I'll put this over here. So we know that the total bill, including an 8% tip, was $50.76. And we know that this was equal to a cost times 1.08. So that cost of the whole meal, including tax, well, we just have to divide this by 1.08. So we get 50.76 divided by 1.08, and I get $47. So the cost of the whole meal plus tax is $47. But that's not what we're asking. We're asking how much will we pay in total with the 10-cent tip, right? So now we need to add 10% to this. Well, 10% of 47 is 4.7. So that would bring us to 51.7 is the cost with 10% tip. So finally, it's asking how many more cents do we need to add to get to the intended tip, because they really like the service. So we just go 51.70 minus 50.76, and we should get 94 cents. And the trick here is, remember, it asks for the answer in cents, so you have to put 94. If you put 0.94 or 0.94, it would be marked wrong, because the answer is being asked for in cents. All right. The base 3 number, 12,012, base 3 is equal to which base 10 number? Oh, well, if there's only one conversion, that's not bad at all. And so we know that the first term is going to be 1, or 3 to the 0. The second term is going to be 3 to the first. The third term is going to be 3 to the second, or 9. The fourth term is 3 to the third, or 27. And the last term is going to be 3 to the fourth, or 1. So I'm going to put in these digits here. Now this means we have one group of 81. Well, one group of 81 is just 81. We have 2 groups of 27, which is 54, just multiply 2 times 27. We have 0 groups of 9, so I don't need to worry about that. I have one group of 3, 2 groups of 1. Add them together, so this makes 5. This makes 5 for a grand total of 10, carry the 1. And so we get 140. And that's it. So 12,012 in base 3 is equal to 140 in our beloved base 10. Now the next 2 problems, those first 3 ones were pretty straightforward. These next 2 are a little trickier and require a little more background knowledge. So triangle ABC is inscribed in circle P as shown, so that AB is the diameter of P. Okay, no big deal. So that means AB is 4, and it tells us that. That's hard to see. And we know BC is 2. And so what is the area of the shaded region? So, okay, so there are a couple things we need to know. First, we know that this is a right angle. The reason why we know this is because if there is a vertex on a circle, on the edge of the circle, the degree measurement of that angle is exactly half the arc measurement that is opposite. So what's that saying? So this angle here is going to be exactly half the number of degrees that this arc has. Well, we know that a circle has 360 degrees, and we know that AB is a diameter. So that means the arc AB has to be 180 degrees because it is half the circle. Well, if this angle C is going to be half arc AB, half of 180 is 90. So we know this is a 90-degree angle. And to find the area of a triangle, you have to find the area of, you have to find the base times the height and divide by 2. So right now we have a triangle. We know this is a right angle. We know that CB is 2. We know that AB is 4. 4 is twice of 2. We have a 30-60 right triangle. So we always have to be thinking about these special case right triangles. And you'll remember that in a 30-60 right triangle, if the smallest side is A, the longest side is 2 times A, and the longest leg is going to be A times the square root of 3. So in this case, we know that AC is going to be 2 times the square root of 3. So the area of the triangle, I'm not going to turn this into a decimal quite yet, the area of the triangle is going to be 2 times 2 root 3 all over 2. So the area is simply going to be, of the triangle, 2 root 3. Now the area of the circle is simply going to be pi r squared. And we know the radius is 2 because the radius is half the diameter is 4, therefore the radius is 2. So we go pi times 2 squared, so that's 4 pi. And now it says, give me the answer rounded to the nearest tenth. It's time to go to the calculator here. So we're going to do 4 times pi. Pi, as you know, is 3.14159. I think that's going to be enough decimal places. And so I hit enter. So I get 12.56636 minus the square root of 3 is 1.73, 2 blah 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 times 2, technical term blah 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 blah. So 3.4641. I'm going to turn this into a negative, maybe, there you go, okay. Now I'm going to add it to my 12.56636, and I get 9.1. There we go. And remember, math counts, competitive math, no units. All right, so that's definitely a little more intricate, more involved problem. So is this next one. All right, so after gymnastics meet, each gymnast shakes hands once with the other gymnasts on every team. Afterwards, the coach came down and shook the hands of each gymnast from her own team. There were a total of 281 handshakes. What is the fewest number of handshakes the coach could have participated in? All right, here we go. All right, so let's look at it this way. So if there's 2 total gymnasts, there's going to be exactly 1 handshake. So this is N for gymnast, H for handshake. If there are 3 gymnasts, that's going to give us a total of 1, 2, 3 handshakes. If we have 4 gymnasts, we're going to have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well, it's not linear, right? Let's do one more. 5, and we're going to end up with 10. So we have a difference of 2, a difference of 3, a difference of 4. This is quadratic because we have a second difference of 1 every time. Now, if I have a second difference of 1, we know the equation is going to have a divided by 2. So if it has a divided by 2, I'm going to multiply these numbers and see if I can't find a pattern. So 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 10 times 2 is 20. So 2 is 1 times 2. 6 is 3 times 2. 12 is 4. Oh, look at that. Look at this. That's where, notice how this first number is n. This number right here is n minus 1. Remember, since I multiplied these blue numbers by 2, the orange numbers by 2 to get the blue numbers, we get 2. So here's the trick. You are then going to take this equation, and we're going to plug it into Desmos. So let's go to Desmos. Equals and do divided by 2. And I'm going to turn it into a table. And so the trick is, the trick is, what number, we need to keep going on our table until we get a number that is less than 281. This number is, so 276 is less than 281, which means that the coach had 5 gymnasts, because he gave 5 high fives, so 5 handshakes, and that gets you to the 281. All right.